Hello everybody, welcome to a pop-up live here in what has to be said, very chilly Somerset this morning. Oh goodness me, it's grim out there, but here we are in the workshop and we are going to be building today one of the Airfix Quick Build kits. Now, let us qualify this from the outset that these are not for enthusiasts. Clearly, these are for the less experienced and more junior end of the market. But I thought I would see what we could do with one of these in terms of approaching it from an enthusiast kind of perspective. So I literally have not opened the box on this. It is still it's still all there, and I think it gives you an idea of how these things go together. The idea is that you don't have to use glue. So let's crack on. I'll also qualify this by saying that I absolutely did not do any work on these projects whatsoever. So those of you know that I do artwork for Airfix. I didn't work on any of the quick builds whatsoever, so I'm coming into these with a especially fresh perspective, and I have been given absolute carte blanche to be as forthright and candid as I want to be. So that's good news. So here we go. Let us switch to the workshop camera. So here are the bits, and like I say, it's to some of it does look like a really kind of beautifully put together Lego kit. So let's get this open, shall we? Now, the other idea behind these are that you don't need to paint them, but we will be painting this. So, as I said, it's kind of almost like a really kind of giant refined Lego kit. But the idea is that these can be put together by younger and less experienced modelers. So we are going to build this in real time just to show how these go together. And I've never built one of these quick build kits, so I'm just going to go through the instruction sheet. So that's putting together the hull. That's just kind of like some of the reinforcement for the body work. Yeah, let's go for it. Now, I'm just going to prop the instruction sheet up in the background here. Two things we will not be needing today, in theory anyway. One is one of these. Three things we won't be needing today. Another one is one of these. And the other one is glue. But I may end up gluing some parts together because because I'm a modeler, really. So, shall we crack on then? And I will come to the comments here. So Jim Altegott says a very good point. Actually, he says snap tight kit, 21st century style. Yeah, like I say, these enthusiasts look away now. These are not meant for you, but yeah, we are going to crack on here. So I'll just identify some bits and pieces here. Right, we're looking for. Also interesting is that apart from we will need a knife today because we've got some bits that need removing there. So that was me being a bit premature. So let's have a look. We've got that goes that side. Dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum. That, making sure I got this the right way around. No, what I've done is that's a good start. I haven't got that part in there. See, this kind of Lego-ish construction means that everything just bolts together with absolute certainty. So, all right, here we go. So that then goes in there like so. Right, perhaps that goes in afterwards. Oh no, that does. There we go. That is. There we go. That's a pleasing click there. Okay, right. Okie dokie. Yeah, Jim, I'm just going to come back to Jim's comment again. So how are we all this this fine Saturday afternoon? He said fine, looking out the window, and it's very cold and drizzly out there. You tell he's British because the show's only been on 5 minutes and he's already obsessing about the weather. So there we go. Jim says, I like the concept, JM, good way to make an entry into scale modeling. Well, this is the point, and this is what I wanted to do today, because I'm sure some of you will have seen these, and if you've got you know, kids or relatives, younger relatives who want to get into modeling, you've probably seen these and thought, well, I wonder if these, you know, what are these like? So there we go. Like I say, these are not enthusiast kits. These are not meant to compete with the Tamiya and Tasca Sherman Fireflies. But as I said, I wanted to see what we could do with one. So we're on to stage 2 here now. And let's get that. Let's have a look. So I'm looking at the instruction sheet here, and okay, so that goes. Oh, right, I'm with you. Right, what I was doing there was I was looking to see how these fit into these holes, but they don't. They fit in between these holes. So, right, so that's on there like so, and then that clicks in there like that. Yep, that overlaps there. Yep. Looks at the instruction sheets. It's pretty sturdy stuff, this. But we will run some glue over it at the final stage, because like I say, I'm going to build this through the hands and eyes of a beginner, but when we actually get round to the final part, so I'm going to be going all enthusiast on it. So we are now, I'm just going to read some comments here. 9bolt says morning. Morning, JM. Philip James Jones says, another pop-up. Careful, you might start a pop-up cake shop. Yeah, very good. Andy King says, that's a lot of bits. Yeah, it is a lot of bits, actually. And Andy also says, I'm watching with tea and bickies, chocolate bickies. Yeah, I've got some beautiful shortbread here from my my friend Faye that she bought me for my birthday this week. Was it your birthday, JM? Good Lord. And you've not mentioned it a million times already. So yeah, so I've got tea and biscuits here. In fact, I'm just going to have, cheers me dears, I'm just going to have a cup of tea. So oh, delicious. Jim Waltercott says, wouldn't mind some cake with my coffee. Yeah, I might go and get some biscuits in a minute, but how about some hobnobs? Yeah, I wouldn't say no to some hobnobs. If you feel the need to send me some chocolate hobnobs, folks, I'm not going to say no. But I'd have to be quick because you know, Drew would be straight up the M5 and hoovering them up. So Anyway, also a big, we will be playing catch up with everybody who's at the Airfix Model World show at the NEC this weekend. So I'm looking forward to speaking to Jen and Mike and Ethan Williams, Jen Wright, Mike Williams, Ethan Williams, for their experiences of it. I've got to say, having seen some of the photographs today, I'm starting to think, why didn't I go there? So yeah, right, there we go. We've got the, is that in the right place? No, that's where the instruction, that's where the illustration shows it go. Yes, I can see. No, I've got that the wrong way around, I think. Yeah, you had that the wrong way around, folks. Goodness me, rookie error. Right, I'm with you. It goes on there like so, and then clamps down there. So like I say, this is where we're going to be employing a bit of glue, because I will want to kind of like fill and sand that and hide that gap, you know, at the final stage. All this along here, you know what I'm going to do with this, don't you? I'm going to hide it with mud. So we've got those bits on. This is coming together very quickly. And in fact, I was only going to build the Sherman today, but it could be that we might have a go at doing the Tiger live as well. So, right, that's right. Yep, there we go. Oh, that locks in like so. And that's left. God, this is great. This is like, this takes me back to my childhood and building Lego. Goodness me. We used to have a thing with my family that, oh, hello, Mum. If my mum's watching, everybody say hello to my mum. She's an ardent fan of the show. And yeah, every November the 5th, my family didn't do firework night. So we used to get toys instead, and invariably we'd get Lego. So that was always fabulous. So thank you, Mum, for that. There we go. Look, we've got a Sherman on the go here, folks. So so we've got that bit there. Yep. Okay. We're up to that stage there already. Andy King says, hi, JM's mum. There you go, Mum. Aaronville says hello. Hello, Aaronville. Yeah. And Go For It Painting says hello. So hello, everybody. I know it's I know we're going pop up live crazy here, but somebody did remark at the beginning. Who was it? Oh, hello, Dave Fleming. He says watching live from the Scottish Nationals. Yeah, it's an absolute kind of it's a glut of model shows this weekend. So we've got Airfix Scale Model World down at the Birmingham NEC, and we've got the Scottish Nationals across the border. So and Jim Altergott says, I like the Rush style artwork. Well, there's a thing, Jim. You may have noticed that I've got my Rush tour t-shirt on, a tour jacket on as well, tour rugby top on today. Goodness me. Yeah, that's the thing, Jim, is that I wanted to do a pop-up live graphic. So, and I wanted to have it as a boing. And so I went online, and every single kind of one that kept coming up, when I saw it, I thought, that looks like the front cover of the first Rush album. So in the end, I thought, well, let's emulate your heroes. So that's why that looks like that. So, right, let's get on with some modeling, shall we? So we've got this side bit here. So that. Oops, no, we haven't. We've got something slightly out of kilter there. That'll be, oh, there we go. That'll be my clumsy fingers. There we go. That's that there. And then that side there. Now, you know, I said that we won't need to have a sanding sponge today. That was me being very premature, because I've just noticed here on just there, you can see there's a little bit of where it's come off the runner of the sprue. So we're just going to go in there, and there we go. So right, let's have a quick look at the comments. Let's have a look. Jim Aldcott says, an excellent choice of graphics, JM. Yeah, thank you, Jim. Like I say, it was weird how everything that I kept trying to do like a Boeing just ended up looking like the front cover of the first Rush album. So I thought, well, we'll run with it. So, right. So, goodness me, folks, look, we've got something that's starting to look like a Sherman Firefly. Isn't that fabulous? So let's get the stowage bin on the back there. Let's get that the right way up. Right, let's we've got to that stage. Oh, we're on to the turret now. Now I'm just going to have a quick look around the turret to see if there are any kind of like dings that might need a bit of a sanding sponge. One thing that we will need the sanding sponge for when we get round to doing some priming is, you can see where these have been slide molded, there is a little bit of a mold seam there, but again, kids aren't going to worry about that. They're just going to slap this together. So, so that's, yeah. We've also got a little bit of a thing there, but oh, rookie error. Rookie error. Guess who forgot to put the Daisy? Guess who forgot to put the turret bit in there? Goodness me. See, it's just getting carried away. Always read the instructions properly. If only somebody had written the book telling you to do that. Right, let's try that again. There we go. And we've got the hatch, which goes around that way. All right, no, it does lock on there. There we go. And yeah, working feature. Like I say, the thing I'm going to do with this is that we will paint it up and weather it as if it was a full-on Tamiya or Tasca Sherman Firefly. And I want to do this just to see how many people will see the model and have to do a double take because it's not the kit they thought it was. So there we go. That's the twists around like that. Yeah. Oh, no, have I got that the right way around? Yes, I have. That's something I did 50 odd years ago with my little Airfix Sherman, was I couldn't figure out how this fitted on there. Right, there we go. Right, we are, you know, I said we're not going to need a knife and glue today. That was an absolute shocking lie. We are going to need a knife and glue today, because we've got we've got some bits that we've got to take off of sprues here, so we are going to need our cutters for that. And I will be gluing some bits at the final stage. So, as I said, we have got some bits to remove there. So off they come, and I'm using those fabulous SMS cutters that we were sent from Australia. So thank you, SMS. That was very kind of you. And we are going to need to use our scalpel today, because we've got just down there, we've got a little bit of plastic to get rid of. So very gently. And that then, I'm just having a quick look in the turret. That then locks into place like so. And oh my goodness me, we have got something that is starting to look like a Sherman Firefly. Wow. As a kid, I would have been absolutely blown away by this. It's a darn sight easier than trying to build the original Airfix Sherman, which I got in the D-Day set 50 years ago. So, yeah, that was fun. Not as fun as the Churchill that came in the set. Oh my goodness me, what a nightmare that was. Right, we are going to have to use the cutters here. Lee Suter, he makes a very good point. He says, I can understand Airfix trying to get the younger kids into modelling by releasing this type of kit, but I think this kit would push me into doing Lego instead. Well, you say that, Lee, but the finished model, I think the thing about some of these Lego kits is that they always end up looking like Lego, whereas this is starting to look like an actual proper kit. So like I say, this is why I'm gonna paint one up and weather it, just to show that you know, that these can be made to look like model kits rather than glorified Lego. So right, let's go in there with the cutters. Oops, I was a bit too close to the part there. Oh, also a big shout out to Mr. Andrew Farmer of Arch Rivals, the hobby company, who, as my birthday treat yesterday, he took me to Bath and we went to see Bath lose against Saracens. But that was lovely. So thank you, Andy. I really enjoyed that. Right, we've got the wheels / tires off there, and we've got the running gear as well. We are going to need a sanding stick for the simple reason where this one has been a little bit loose in the bag, where it's come off the runner. It's snagged a bit there, so we will I'll do that later on. actually, I'm going to do it now. Let's just get these mold part lines dealt with. Oops. And those of you who have watched the show will know that I've eulogized enough about these Infinity sanding sponges rather, but this 400 grit one, which is still the same 400 grit one I bought 2 years ago, absolutely brilliant, really top dollar stuff. So like I say, I'm doing something here which is a little bit beyond what a kid would do if they were building this, and that's just me being a finicky enthusiast. But there we go. So that's that part of the running gear sorted out, and we're going to get rid of that that sprue nib as well there, that sprue tag rather. So just going to run around the wheel. I will come back to your comments in a minute, folks. There we go. So let's have a look. Andy King, very good point, Andy. Andy King says, to be fair, the kit may be simplified, but it does look like a Sherman Firefly. Pretty impressed so far. Thank you, Andy. I think this is why I wanted to do the pop-up live, because having seen some of these, my first thought was, well, if you kind of went at this from a slightly different angle, could you make it look like it was, you know, something that was a proper, you know, 600-piece Sherman tank kit? I mean, obviously, if you start looking at it closely, you will start to see how it is a slightly more simplified model. But I just want to have that. I believe it's what the Americans call a spit take, you know, or what we in this country call a double take, is just do something whereby somebody has to look at it twice and go, really? So incidentally, folks, if you haven't got any of this in your life, I just find it absolutely brilliant for what I'm doing at the moment, which is, after I've done a little bit of cleanup, is just go in there and smooth everything out. So probably for the next 10 minutes or so, it's going to be the fascinating sight of me cleaning up Sherman tank wheels. But hey ho, it's free, for goodness sake. So yeah, and if you good folks can tell me what you're working on as well at the moment, and don't forget, you're always welcome to post anything you're working on, even if you just open a box or just looking at some bits and pieces. Just share it with the Facebook feed. Facebook page is there as much for you to share your work as it is for us to kind of drone on. So in fact, I must at some stage have a word with Hornby, because I really want to build the Bond Bug. It's just one of those kits from my childhood that I always remember seeing it in the catalogue, but I don't think I ever saw it in Woolworths in Wokingham. And yeah, it's just one of those ones that I really want to build that. And Upsa daisy. Now that, I'm just going to zoom in there. That's where I wasn't very careful getting it off the runner there. So we will just go in there with a blade, cutting away from ourselves. And Jim says, still moving along my Hasegawa 48th Mackie C202 Folgore, 35th scale Tamiya Achilles, and a Dragon Tiger 1. Absolutely splendid. Craig Sargent says, Saturday night at the bench, Hasegawa 48 scale OA4M conversion, 400-gallon centerline drop tank, CAD just finished, and on the printer working on the intakes. I have got to say, I am really impressed with how many brilliant modelers have started kind of using 3D printing to do their own conversion bits and things. I know Drew is very massively into his 3D printing at the moment. He'll be working on a kit. He'll look at something and he'll go, yeah, don't like that bit. And then he just designs and prints his replacement part. Absolutely brilliant. It's fascinating to see how that technology has embraced and enhanced the hobby. And yeah, it's something I will eventually try to get my head round, but I think you've got to have the aptitude for 3D, and I haven't. But we'll see what we can do. I'm sure somebody can nursemaid me through the process. So oops, bear with me a sec, folks. I'm just going to have a quick swig of tea. Oh. Cheers, me dears. Andy King says, I'm working on the following: Tamiya 72nd scale F-35A for Model Airplane International, ICM 72nd scale Bronco for the Modeling News, Italeri 35th scale Dodge, and Italeri's 35th scale Fiat 508 or 508 Coloniale. And JT Scale Models says, applying a wash to my Ryfield model Panzer III Ausf J right at this moment, JM. One of the things I definitely want to build this year is I need to build a Panzer III. It's been one of those subjects that for years I've always wanted to do one in 35th scale. I think as a kid couldn't do it because we just frankly couldn't afford to go down to PC Simper and Son and buy Tamiya kits. So I'm going to try and do something about that this year, folks. No time like the present. So last tire for this block, and I think as you upstage, let's get it on camera. I think you can see how these sanding sponges make just such short work of dealing with stuff like this. Right, that's that side done. Got the tracks to do yet, so that'll be riveting. Let's have a look. What have we? That's right. That's that side. So, so we need to do one of those. Starts the show by saying the two things you won't need to do, three things you won't need to there: a knife, a sanding sponge, and glue. Oh my goodness me, how I will be wiping that egg off my face for the next couple of weeks. But in all honesty, like I say, if you're a kid building one of these, you don't need to be kind of doing what I'm doing here. You can get perfectly acceptable results literally by tearing the parts off the sprue, which is what I used to do when I was younger. So, which is what I used to do when I was younger. Then when I was at school, went to the school library and discovered how to go plastic modeling by Chris Ellis, and that's when my modeling changed completely. So I'll get that on there as well. We've got some, what are other people working on? Michael Scott says he's working on the Luke Graft Dragon Rapide and Tamiya F-35, gathering dust on my bench, slowly and surely getting there. Well, it's not a race, and I understand that people do have other pressures on their lives, and workbench time isn't always easy to find. And let's have a look. And Rob Suto says, I'm working on the boiler seam on my Revell 187th Express steam loco. Rob highlights yet again a subject matter that I really want to be doing a little bit more of this year, which is build a couple of locos. I've got my little Daypole / Airfix / Rosebud little 040 still kicking around here somewhere, which I was inspired to do after a visit to the West Somerset Railway 5 years ago. They haven't got any there, but I just saw the kits there and I thought I've got to do some model railways. So also another tool that is always handy to have is an old toothbrush, because you can clean up bits and pieces. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to move all that out of the way, and bear with a moment, folks. Oh, reaches over and grabs cleaning cloth. Right, so we've done one side of this. So the idea is that you pop the wheels on like so, and then you push the bogies on there. Oops. Yep, fine. Fine, we're going to carry on. I'm not going to be removing these to do anything further, because, like I say, we're probably going to slather this with pigments and mud and everything. So, oops. Great comment there by 9 Bolts. I love that. He says, built it out of the box age 9, take it to bits, sand, glue and paint and weather age 49. Yes, wish I was 49 again. Goodness me. Oops, just got to align. Oh, there we go. Right, let's do the other side, shall we? I'm just going to have a quick look at some comments here. Jim says Academy makes a good Panzer III kit and DAC markings. JM, I like the sound of that. I do like building Africa core stuff. I think it's because that sand gelb color lends itself to weathering so beautifully. And Philip Jones, goodness me, Philip, since you asked, working on the old Eschi Henschel 1, 2, 3 and 48 scale Spanish Civil War camo using more recent decals. Will be used when I get that far. I've actually got the Italeri reissue of the kit here, and I keep looking at it and thinking, I want to build it. I know that there is a more recent kit out there, a much more modern kit, but a bit like Spence, I do like dipping into older kits, and I think part of it is kind of growing up. People are watching this going, growing up, for God's sake, man, you're doing a live modeling show on the internet. Growing up, indeed. Yeah, growing up, essentially. There were so many kits that I can never get round to building, which now in my slightly older years, I look and I think, yeah, I definitely want to build one of those, like the Bond Bug, indeed, like I did 2 years ago when I built the old Airfix beach buggy. which I'm just looking at on the shelf here. So it's nice to kind of dip into these older kits sometimes and yeah, just exorcise those ghosts essentially. Right, shall we do some more? Wheels and things, and I will field your questions as and when they come in. It's going to be more of the same from just now, folks. But so we've already got two done there. So now, I will say that an observation is that the sprue attachment points on these are actually quite robust, I think is a very good way of putting it. So that's why I've been kind of going in there thinking that they're just going to, you know, this is just going to kind of blitz through them, but they are a little bit more chunky than you would expect with a conventional injection molded kit. So yeah, I think that's a good, as you can see there, that's a very good example there, but not a criticism, but it's an observation. So we will go in there like so. Oops. Aronville says, goodness me, Aronville, he says, now self-retired 2020, age 55, now starting models and model railways, age 59. Absolutely brilliant, Aronville. Welcome aboard. Yeah. Goodness knows when I'll retire. I don't like the idea of retiring. And that's the scary thing, is that retirement has always been that kind of it's that far off thing in the future. Because I always think I'm only just starting out on my working career. To be frankly honest with you, I'm not. And yeah, it's when you suddenly hit your 57th birthday, and I have to sit back and think, how the heck did I get to 57? Well, I got to 57 thanks to the skill of a neurosurgeon at Bristol Southmead. So I'm no carping there, folks. And in fact, serious face for a moment, is I think this is the first birthday in recent years where I've not kind of sat there and thought, oh, blimey, I'm another year older. I've actually sat back and thought, goodness me, I've managed to make another year. And this time last year, it really didn't look like I was going to make it to the end of the week, quite frankly. So, yeah, so that's the last time I'm going to mention that for now. So there we go. So this is why I'm really enjoying my modeling again, because second chance and all that. So, and 9 volts asks a very good question. He says, JM, is the plastic manufactured in the UK like some other Airfix Quick Builds? Very good question. I'm just having a look at the box. I'm just having a look. It doesn't say, but I will ask. I will ask the office. It says on the box, manufactured by Hornby Hobbies. So nothing. I'll ask. I will ask for you. So and Aronville says, good, you survived to show us how to model. Oh, I don't know about that. I think for the most part, I probably show people how not to model, but that's very kind of you, Aronville. That's very, very decent of you. So Peter Oxley says, hi folks, only just spotted this was on. Hi JM. Hello Peter, how the Charles Dickens are you this Saturday afternoon? Well, there is something therapeutic about sanding seams or sanding parts like this. Right, let's get the last bits of these bogies done. Oh, by the way, folks, if you have not invested in a pair of single-sided nippers, I know Drew and myself and Spence were always eulogizing about them. And in fact, I'm just going to dig out the ones I have here, because at Telford, I did invest in a new set of God Hand ones. You come in a lovely little protective pouch. And I got them because my fabulous Despy ones that I bought from 5 years ago, these are still doing a job. It's just they've just lost their finesse a bit, but they are still absolutely fabulous bits of. Still use them. So yeah, so if you've not got a set of single-sided nippers, I seriously would say skip a couple of kits and invest in them, because I found them to be just absolutely brilliant. Every time you sit down at the workbench, just removing parts from sprues and runners, it goes from being a bit of a chore to just being a delight. And yeah, it's just the way those blades slice through the plastic. It's very cathartic. So it's probably psychologists watching this thinking, but I've lost my toothbrush, folks. There it is. I'll play catch up with your comments in a second. Aronville asks, do you do dioramas? I'm thinking 72nd scales for my model railways. Do a 2 foot by 2 foot flexible changeable area so I can switch over lots of different scenarios. What do you think? I think that's a brilliant idea, Aaron. I would go for that. The thing is, I'm going back, oh my goodness me, 50 years ago, and my mum and my dad made a kind of like a diorama seascape for me, a beachhead thing, and it was a piece of hardboard, and my mum, she glued, would you believe, it was the sandpaper stuff that you used to have to line budgie cages, because I used to have a budgie at the time called Snowy, and she used that to make the beach, and my dad painted a seascape. So then for my birthday, I got the Airfix D-Day Battlefront set. I got the German and the British ones, but I had constantly had something that I could use to pose my own little kind of vignettes of, imagined battles and things. So yeah, I would definitely go for that. That's an absolutely top class idea. Yeah, that birthday, goodness me, 50 years ago. Oh God, I can't. I hate even saying that, because it just makes you feel old. But no, I for that birthday, I got the Airfix D-Day Battlefronts. Yeah, the German and the British D-Day Battlefronts. I think I also got the El Alamein sets as well, but I remember the D-Day ones for the simple reason of trying to put that blessed Churchill together. And I also got, what else did I get? I got some Action Man stuff. No, the Action Man stuff was Christmas. And then my grandparents, knowing I was into dinosaurs, thought, well, we will buy him a dinosaur model, which was very kind of them. We'll come to this in a second, because it's funny how things end up becoming a bit circular. But no, my grandparents decided that they'd go out and buy me a dinosaur model. What they ended up buying me was actually the Aurora glow-in-the-dark Godzilla kit. And yeah, it absolutely terrified me as a child. I'm just bringing up the box art here because the box art is the stuff of nightmares. It really is. It's not very accurate, but he said. But yeah, that's the one I had. Oh my goodness me! It absolutely terrified me, and about that time, I think we'd had on ITV. It was like the big movie of the week was King Kong versus Godzilla, which I remember watching, but that absolutely scared the merry hell out of me. So there we go. Which is ironic because these days I'm a massive fan of the whole nonsense. So yeah, so that was my birthday 50 years ago. But yeah, trying to build that Airfix Sherman and that Airfix Churchill, yeah, not easy for an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old rather. So right, and that was when we lived in Wokingham in Berkshire, which is a place I am hoping to make another pilgrimage to at some stage. Last time I was there was 20 years ago. I remember thinking at the time I'll come back next year. 20 years later, anyway. Let's skip back to the workshop and let's actually get on with some modeling. So there we go, wheels on, and then we line that up, and oops a daisy, let's line that up. There we go. So wheels on again. And I don't know about you folks, but that looks more like a Sherman Firefly than it does a Lego model. Yep. Jim says, my brother built the Aurora Godzilla kit when I was 8 or 9. Glow-in-the-dark model scared me sleepless at night. Yes. My parents took to hiding the box on top of the wardrobe in my bedroom, but unfortunately they hid the box on top of the wardrobe just where it faced me, and it was like, good move, mum and dad. And Aronville asks, are you going to paint and weather? Yes, this is the point of me doing this today, is that when I saw the images of this, my first thought was, that looks more, like I say, that looks more like a plastic kit than it does a Lego model. And so I thought, yeah, I'm going to put one together, show you people what these are like to put together, but I am going to paint. I'm going to paint and weather this like it's a Tamiya or a Tasker kit. So that's the plan. So here we go. Here's the fun bit. Oh no, we haven't done the drive sprocket and the idler yet. So whoops, that'll be the last few bits off of that sprue. So let's have a look. What does the idler need? The idler just needs these bits. Peter Oxley says, why was Godzilla seemingly wearing a black suit? And Jim replies, because he was dressed to kill. An angry, radioactive, fire-breathing, enormous lizard. There's the thing, though, folks. This is where I get geeky. Is so many times he's depicted as green. Even in the Toho films of the 60s, he was never green. He was charcoal grey. And I think the only time he became green was when Toho kind of they kind of rebooted everything following the interesting Roland Emmerich film of the late 1990s. And for 2 films, they made the suit green, which was Godzilla 2000 and Godzilla X Megaguirus. But then when Shizuki Kaneko made Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, All Monsters Attack in 2001, he went back to being charcoal grey, and he has been charcoal grey ever since. And to their credit, Legendary Pictures, when they did their reboot series, checks notes 10 years ago. Oh, goodness me. No, he's grey. He's gone back to being grey. So was never, well, he was only ever green in 2 Toho films, but why people insisted he's green? It's because people think dinosaurs are green. Anyway, welcome to Dinosaur Colour Chat, everybody. Next week, no, we JM, it's almost like you watch these films. Yeah, just a bit. So we are popping the idler on it now. Again, this is an interesting design feature. I don't know if you can see that there, but those pins that once the idler is on there, those pins lock the idler in place. So you want to make sure, you want to make sure you've got it the right way around. But when that goes in there like so, you push it and there we go. Now, what you end up with, enthusiast's face on here, is you end up with this, which isn't obviously not very authentic, which is one thing enthusiasts will instantly pick up on. But you know what we can do with that? We can hide it with mud. So there we go. So again, make sure we've got the right way around. And that's it. See that? And everything wiggles around. So we are moving on to the drive sprocket. And now this is where I always make errors when I'm building proper tank kits, is I have to make sure I don't end up lobbing a bit of a drive sprocket off. But what I do like, and all credit to the Airfix designers for doing this, is the number of times I've built kits where they've put the sprue attachment points, they put them in between the teeth. These are actually at the end of the teeth, which means it is a very simple task of lining up the cutter with the end of the tooth, and that's it. Pop it off. So yeah, that's excellent, excellent and thoughtful design work, that. What do you do on Saturday afternoon? I watched the Confused Man from Dudley build a model live on the internet. So look at that. As they say in the League of Gentlemen, dead soldier. So that's a sprue finished with. Into the bin it goes. Oh no, the plastic bag can be recycled. I thought perhaps the plastic could be recycled. Perhaps that's the next thing the model industry can start looking at, is how we can recycle sprues. But I'm just having a look here. So how does that line up? I will make a comment here, and that is that these obviously have to line up in a particular way. as I'm just moving this around, I'm just seeing it's not particularly clear how those align with the teeth. And sorry, let's just get rid of that. Get rid of that. So I think that's one area where they could improve, is to actually have a scrap diagram to show how these. Right, I think I can see how this works. Is that I think these bits here, these teeth here, align with the widest part there. Yep. Yep, that's how it works. So I think a little scrap view diagram to show how that works would be quite helpful. So I'm just having a look. So again, we need to align that. Yep, there we go. Pops on like so. So yeah, that's a little area for improvement there, I think, is just have, as you can see there on the instruction sheet, is it just shows them fitting in there. I think something to actually show the actual alignment of these parts would be very, very helpful. So yep. Oh, I've got a bit dark there for a moment. I think it's the aperture on the camera adjusts. So Jim Altergott says, quick build or not, cover it with mud. That's the plan, Jim. You know me. In fact, one of the things that I am going to do at some stage is like a real cheats method of doing weathering, because I did it on those Dune models of all things, and I could have spent ages doing washes and dry brushing and etc., but ultimately I just slathered them in a sludge wash, and then when it dried I just brushed off the excess, and that was it. And the actual finish is better than I could have achieved with washes. So right, so I don't think it's critical. Either way can go on that way. So you just align it there, push it down, and then you should. Oh, I'm just trying to figure out why it's not. There we go. That's what we were waiting for. I didn't want to push it too hard, because I just thought, imagine the egg on my face is, modeler breaks model live on the internet. So there we go. That's it. Folks, it looks like a Sherman Firefly. It doesn't look like a Lego model. So, right, the final part of this show. I know you're all kind of thinking, when's it going to end? It's going to end probably in the next while or so. Andy King says it looks more like a Sherman than some 35th scale kits out there. Absolutely, Andy. So, right, here we go. This is one aspect that unfortunately even enthusiasts have to deal with, which is track by track links. But we will persevere. I think what I'll do is I'll do one side, and then we'll call it a day, because I don't think you need to see me do both sides. And what I think is particularly clever is that that an entire run is enclosed within one sprue. So oops. Just looking out the window to see what the weather's doing, because I would like to try and do some gardening today, but it's not looking good out there, folks, so never mind. We'll do some modelling instead. Oops. Oops, daisy. Let's make sure we're getting the getting these. In fact, one of the conversations I had with Mr. Andrew Farmer yesterday was he asked me if I'd like to build some more cars for him, and I said yes. So inspired by the conversation that I had with Ian Hartup live on the Interesting Modelling Company the other week, is I am certainly very keen to build more cars. I've got the Fujimi Mini here, which is currently looking very glossy. So yeah, I want to push myself out of my comfort zone. So right, let's see how these track links snap together. Brilliant! Look at that; they just clip together like that. And of course, the one thing you can't, I was going to say the one thing you can't do with cars is cover them in mud, but I'm reminded that I've got an Italeri Ford Escort here, which is a rally car, which I started about 18 months ago. And yeah, you can cover that in mud. So this is a particularly neat method of joining the tracks together. I think from an enthusiast point of view, it probably leaves you with inners that don't look entirely authentic, but like I say, this is not meant to be a model to compete against the Tamiya and Tasca kits. So look at that working track link. Right, let's just play. Aronville says, will we see another live of you painting it? If you lot don't behave yourselves, yeah, you will. What I might do is I might do a live just where I'll come back to it after I've put some paint on it. But yeah, we're going to try and see what we can do there. Jeff Baker says it's cold, warming up next week. And Frank Blanton says, just tuned in. What tracks are these, and for what tank and scale? Frank, what I'm building here is it's the Airfix 35th scale Sherman Firefly. It's actually a quick part of their quick build range rather. Oops, Daisy, and it's essentially a kind of snap together kit designed for kids. But one of the things that I wanted to do was put it together, show people how it goes together, but at the final stage is actually paint and weather it like it is a Tamiya or a Tasca kit. So that's the plan. So yeah, this honestly this is not meant to be a kit that's supposed to compete with the Tamiya and Tasca kits. But kids are not going to be building 600-part tanks anyway. So right, shall we? That's so I hope that answers your question, Frank. It's like I say, we're going a little off piste today, and we're doing something where we're combining something that's aimed at less experienced modelers, but then we're going to kind of go full on enthusiast right at the end of it. So bear with me, folks. whilst we do this absolutely riveting job of getting these track links off. But as you can see, this is where a pair of nippers comes into their own. So oh, the other thing I will talk about in a second, once we've get this run of tracks off, and because the other thing I will do is I will do a little bit of cleanup on them, but I'm going to clean them up once they're all in one go here. So, and I'll do it off air. So. Yeah, the other thing this kit comes with, literally, it comes with stickers. So I won't be. These are little vinyl peel-off stickers, absolutely great for kids. But what I will be doing is I will be putting these under the scanner, and I will make vinyl masks, and I will be spraying the markings on this one. So. Or indeed having a look through my decal collection here, because I'm sure I've got some. I've got some Sherman Firefly markings. So, but yeah, I won't be using the stickers. It's a brilliant idea, but and again, it's a brilliant idea because it's this whole thing is aimed at kids. So everything is. The idea is that they don't need to paint it. So the tank is in olive green, and the tracks are black. So, and that's why it comes with stickers, actual proper stickers. So let's pop these tracks together. So if you've got any more questions, folks, because we're probably going to be on air. What are we up to now? We've done about an hour. We're probably going to be about another 20 minutes here whilst I do the rest of these tracks. But I think it's, or rather the rest of these tracks for one side. If you want me to carry on doing the rest of the tracks and you want to stay tuned in, then I will. It's entirely up to you. But right, so there we go. So we've got, oops. Yeah, I think it does pay to make sure each link is in properly before you start putting the next one in. Right, that's that set of links done. Questions. Let's have a look. Aronville asks, have you built and painted an Airfix 35th scale Cromwell? I haven't, Aaron. Ironically, I do actually have one here. I've actually got a couple of the kits, but one of the things that Hornby sent me when I was designing the decals and instruction artwork, they actually sent me a completed model, or an unpainted completed model. So it's sat here in a box. So I'm thinking to myself, I think I might actually paint that. Let's have a look. Captain Magenta has joined us. And Frank says, yes, brilliant. It looks like a right grand kit. Cheers. Well, again, Frank, this is the point that I'm going to do, is that we are going to, it's taking something that is essentially, a snap together kit for kids, but it's wanting to just apply some enthusiast touches so that we can show the potential of one of these things. What would be nice is ultimately, Dad and his son both building the same model. So, Lado builds it his way, Dad builds it his way, but they're both building the same kit, so they can both go through the same experience. So oops, daisy, come on, nippers, get in there. And obviously, I think I've mentioned this. I think I mentioned this to Drew last week on the IMC show. But following my vacation last year, one of the things was when I came out, I couldn't bear to listen to the news channels anymore, which is slightly awkward because it shares it with the football. But I became utterly devoted to BBC Radio 3, which is the classical music channel. And I've always had a bit of an interest in classical music. But oh my goodness me, it is just my daily obsession now. It's just utterly brilliant. And yeah, so much fabulous music that I've discovered. Yeah, it's opera night tonight on Radio 3, and opera has always passed me by, but it's what I call appointment radio, whereby if it's on, I'll listen to it, but I'll make an appointment to do something whilst I'm listening to it. So of course, sat in a workshop building plastic models is ideal. So right, so let's do this. So this time round, we'll do it one runner at a time. So rather than trying to do it in like one giant connection, we'll just do one at a time. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, well, we've got a few more bits to do. Frank says, we definitely need these beginners kits in our hobby to grow further. Applause to Airfix for this kit and others like it. I am 59 years old and I started building kits at age 8. I am a Sherman nerd for sure and glad to see kits like these. Of course, classical music goes great with modeling. Absolutely. Oh my goodness me, yeah, absolutely. Usually at this time of year, if it's a bit warmer, I'll be sat out on the patio in the evening with the chimney blazing away, listening to Radio 3. But I'm not going to do that today, not unless I want to. Not unless I want to risk hypothermia. So, oh, we still got one. Come on, get off the runner, you. Ta-da! There we go. That's one more sprue finished with. One more runner sprue. Right, that's. And the other thing I might do is take this footage, edit it down a bit, put some funky music over it, and release that as a separate thing. So there we go. We've got a side done. So I am going to. Oh, 47, right, okay. We've got two that are spare because they sit there. So we should have 47. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Now let's move that out of the way. That's playing havoc with the exposure. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. Okay, so it's a run of 47 each side. Well, in that case, then, we'll take those off. I think they must give you some spares. Right, so that's, we'll just have a quick look at the instructions here, because I need to make sure that when I put them on, I get the cleats the right way around. So, okay, it's saying you literally thread them through. This should be fun. Okay, yeah, it's it's a little bit tricky because you can thread them through, but as you're doing so, they just have a natural inclination to start kind of moving up on each other. So we are, there we go, there we go. Once you get going. Right, there we go. It's a bit loose, but I think, yeah, it's got to be loose because it's obviously got to. I'm just going to take a couple of links out, see what happens, because that, I think I've probably got too many links in one part. That's better. Yeah, I clearly, modeler induced error there. I clearly had too many links in the track there. So that's, although having said that, it's I've lost the ability to actually kind of move it along, but hey ho. What we might have to do, folks, is El Derpa Lerpa's woken from his slumbers, so we might have to have a brief intermission whilst I go and get another cup of tea, go and feed his royal derpness, and so we'll come back. We will be back in a short while. We will do the rest of the tracks. I know it's riveting stuff, isn't it? We'll do the rest of the tracks, and then finish the model off, and then perhaps a sneak peek of the Tiger. So I'm just going to go and make myself another drink. I will be back in probably about 5 minutes time, so stay tuned and we'll see you very, very shortly. So back in a while. Oh, goodness me, folks, that's better. Got myself a fresh cup of tea here. So we'll carry on doing the rest of these tracks, and then we'll actually finish the model live in one go, in one epic long broadcast. So anyway, cheers, me dears. And then we'll have a quick look at the Tiger as well. So meanwhile, back at the workbench, it's going to be more of the same, I'm afraid. It's just going to be me putting together bits of track, but I'm just also going to do a quick check of the 47, they reckon. Okay, then. So let's just do 1, 2, 3. Let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. Right. Okay, so 47. So essentially, this lot here, I don't need. So what we're going to do is get my Xuron cutters, and we're just going to, oops, daisy. That was good. That got rid of that one. Right, the idea was we were just going to remove that entire section of sprue, but that's exactly what we're doing at the moment. So we don't need those tracks. That was a good example there of why you saw what happened there. This is a pair of Xuron cutters. I've had these for about 25 years. These are used for cutting photo etch, but they've lost their edge now. But that was a very good example there of what happens with conventional cutters, where they're pinching, they break the sprue in order to make the cut. And the result there was part of that sprue went into orbit. It's probably, at this point, it's probably just reached Avonmouth. So there we go, folks. That's why we prefer single edged. Now, these are actually double edged from SMS, but they are so fine. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to switch over to the SMS single edge ones. I have been using their double edge ones, and they have been superb. But just to show you. Yeah, sorry, I'm just checking. Oh, actually, I stand corrected. These red ones are the single edged, are single edged. Because if I zoom in, if you can see there, you can see how, if I bring it together, oops, daisy, there. So you can see how this one here is the actual cutting edge. This one here is the actual kind of guillotine, you know, it's the actual blunt edge itself, the actual stop. So yeah, I thought I was using yeah, that's a very good illustration there. The other ones that I've got from SMS are actually they are actually dual edge cutters, so they are equal widths at both ends, so they actually cut from both ends. Gotta say, these are absolutely superb. But I have been using the single edge cutters. Goodness me, Jem, it's almost like you've had brain surgery. What did they find in there? Big empty space, I can tell you. Right, here we go. So I'm going to field your questions as they come in. 9 Bolt says, morning, JM. Oh, no, we've already done 9 Bolt, sorry. Shameless plug from Jim Altegott. He says, I will be a guest on Oz Scale Modeling YouTube channel, 10 p.m. UK time. Brilliant, Jim. We will, if you can send us a link to that, we will make sure that we plug that mercilessly on the IMC page. So yeah, if you can ping us a link, that would be absolutely splendid. Peter Oxley says, hi Jim, shivering a bit up in the north, we are burr. I tell you what, Peter, it's not that much warmer down here in the southwest, and it's supposed to be, you know, we're always supposed to be known for having slightly more balmy weather, but oh my goodness me, it is absolutely perishing out there at the moment. So yep, So I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is, as I've got this, as I've got the sprue at a certain angle, I'm going to do all the cuts that are required on one side of the track links. And then do another, then do the other side. So it just, it means what we're not having to do is constantly kind of flip the, you know, do one side, flip the sprue over, do the next side, and then, you know, yada, yada, yada. So one thing I was going to say was, being in Bath yesterday, I haven't been there for over a year, but from memory, I get the horrible feeling Bath doesn't have any kind of model shop at all now. At one time, I think there were about 3. There was obviously the Modeller's Den right at the bottom of the high street. There used to be another one called Wings and Wheels back in the 80s, and there was a rather excellent little one in a marketplace just at the top of Milsom Street. Here we go. Look, we've done one side, so we're going to flip it over and do the other side now. But I stand to be corrected. I'm sure somebody watching may know Bath a little bit better than I do, but I don't think there are any in Bath anymore, which would be a shame. Which will be ironic, given that Bath is Somerset's other city. Pop quiz question, folks. Which one of you out there can tell me what is Somerset's other city? One is Bath, but what is Somerset's other city? So you don't win anything apart from my admiration for being so knowledgeable. But so let's have a look. Let's clip these in like so. So that's 1, 2, 3. We want 47. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just make sure I am gluing. I'm gluing these. I am putting these the right way round. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to make this up to 10. So do them in units of 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. So that's a unit of 10 there. Has anybody answered my what is Somerset's other city? Come on, folks, you should know this. Drew and I bang on about it enough times. I'm just reading one of the Frank says, excellent thus far, Jonathan. At some point, I too will need to get an Airfix Cromwell to build. Also going to watch my Hotspurs take Arsenal down this morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Yes, yep. Yeah, let's not talk about football. It's been a rotten week for my team, Liverpool. So, yeah, moving on. Yeah, I'm just having a look. Jim says tracks look better after removing a few links. Aaron says, I like the idea, Aaron. He says, could you please build and paint the 135th Cromwell with tank crew on a small diorama build, maybe in a few sessions? I have one to do. I would love to, Aaron. Unfortunately, I don't think I have the time to actually do a diorama, but I would certainly like to. I'd certainly like to build the Airfix Cromwell, and I do actually have one that is actually constructed that I could actually throw some paint on. So yeah, it's just a time thing, Aaron, because we've got you know, I've got other projects that I'm working on here, plus, you know, without sounding like a humble brag, but I've also got commissions that I do. So yeah, I'd like to do it, but we'll see what we can do. See, rookie error. It was going to happen. Idioto here, put them the wrong way round. There we go. That was going to happen. Plus, there's things I want to build for me. Oops, Daisy. So, and there's projects that we're doing for the Interesting Modeling Company, and yeah. So, see what we can do though. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's another run of 10 there. So bum ba 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 ba. Yeah, oh right, I'm with you now. Yeah, I'm with you now, Jim. Yeah, tracks look better after removing a few links. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I think they're intentionally loose to so that they can run, but seeing as that's not going to be a consideration for me. Oops. Oops. Oh, come on. The other thing I've really got to do is have an absolute purge of the workshop here. I noticed Spence this week. He literally kind of went on the rampage in his workshop. And you know what I mean, Spence. You were quite brutal, and you were finding stuff and just like, no, I haven't used that in decades. It's going, you know, years. That's going straight in the bin. And I did do something similar a few weeks back, a few months back, rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I've got 11 there. So yeah, I'm going to have to do same. But yeah, it's I'm a little bit more sentimental about projects that I haven't quite finished yet. I haven't got that kind of brutal streak where I can just go, nope, into the bin. So it's like I've got a half-built Italeri Horsa glider here, which I actually started building. Oh my goodness me! It was the big model show at Milton Keynes 5 years ago, half a decade ago. And obviously this was all pre-pandemic and everything. And yeah, I started building it with every intention of finishing it off. But as always happens, you know, you start building these things and life gets in the way. I should finish it off for the simple reason that this being the 80th anniversary of D-Day this year, it would make sense to do it. So let me just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's just, oh, I've got some correspondence here. Yeah, sorry folks, just got to bear with me a second. Some office admin here for a second. Ah, it's better. Yeah, so I should get round to finishing that that Horser off. So on top of everything else that you know, that I want to try and finish off this year. But in the words of the Rush song "Everyday Glory," though we know that time has wings, we're the ones who have to fly. And boy, that really did hit home in the last year or so. So yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4. So this should be 7 now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. There we go. Make sure they're all on the same side. So let's link these together. Right, let's have another go at this. So let's make sure we've got the cleats facing the correct way. And do you know what I've done, folks? I've got the blessed tracks on the wrong way around. Rookie error part 2. Right, so they should face downwards. Goodness me. Because that's the beauty of these, is that you can just literally snap them apart and then pop them back together again. So there we go. There we go. That's that on. Yeah, cleats should face downwards. It should be a frowny face rather than a smiley face. So that'll enter into Sherman folklore modelling lore, won't it? It will be Man from Dudley said Sherman cleats should be frowny face, not happy face. So let's get it on camera. That might help. There we go. So now we find out whether 47 is, no, I think it's, I still think 47 is probably too long. So yeah, we've shortened it to 46, and that gives you a nice tight track run. What you can't do is you can't whiz it over the carpet, but hey ho. Oops. And that one's come apart. So let's just, oops. Oh, for goodness sake, he's making a right Horlicks of this, folks. Oh, I should never have. Let's take that. Let's try doing it this way round. There we go. We've got the tracks on now. Right, finally. So let's go for a wide. If you didn't know, that was essentially that. I think I'd see what you think, folks. I mean, I will put some photographs up later on, but this is why I wanted to build one of these, was just to show what could be done. So, excuse me. Let's put those spare links pop into there like so. So what we have ended up with is some spare. We've got some spare track links here, but I think with a little bit of research, we could incorporate them into the model as applique armor or something. So, right. So we are on to the final stretch now, and it is essentially everything off the grey sprue. Although I'm slightly, oh yeah, I found a bit there. I thought, what's that for? And I've suddenly realized that it's part of the, okay, let me just look the instructions. Oh, right, that sits up there. That sits in there like so. Okay, so then what we've got is we've got the last few bits to glue on. So we have not glue on, you know what I meant. We've got the shovel. So we will nip that off like so. That sits on that side there. Which way round does it go? Points forward. Now I think this is, again, this is one area of the kit where I think a bit of careful painting is going to try and sell the illusion that this might be a full-on kit, but you obviously got these axes and the you got the axe and the pick, and some of these other tools are molded in place, and they're quite shallow. So yeah, and you've got that's spade or shovel there. You've got a solid handle there. So yeah, we may have to do a little bit of disguising work there, but again, it's all about just trying to kind of sell the illusion of what this model is. So what have we got? We've got a couple of bits. So we've got some ammo boxes and a jerry can to sit in the to sit at the front there. And that will be it. That will be the last few bits of this kit. So, oops, ping, there we go. Okay, well, just a little bit of light sanding across the top there. Again, it's just going to be a feature of this kit that because this is simplified and it's kind of, you know, it's clicked together, is you're obviously not going to get the finesse of proper jerry cans. I suppose if I was minded, I could replace this with an aftermarket jerry can, because I've got plenty of accessory packs here. So I'll have a think about that. It's it's all down to how far do I go in keeping this model as authentic to its original kind of intentions, and how much do I then start adding kind of enthusiast kind of touches. So I'll throw that one over to you folks, because but that just plugs in there. Oops, Daisy, that plugs in there like so. And then we've got the ammo boxes, which we're going to need a little bit of cleanup on them. A quick swig of tea, I think. Yeah, we'll just do a little bit of, like I say, kids aren't going to be bothered with things like this. So as an enthusiast, I am. So just do a little bit of, scrape that off. And across the top as well. I will come back and read some of your comments and questions in a second. Sorry, folks. It turns out my mic was muted all the time. Do apologise. That was half the show with no sound there. I do apologise for that. Or actually, probably it was a blessing in disguise. MP Model Plastic says, I just see the Tiger, very cool. I'm at when I've done this tonight, I will give you a sneak peek of the Tiger, because I've got one here as well. Right, so that's just cleaning up that that little ammo box there. So we pop that one down there, and again that one there. Like I say, kids aren't going to bother with this. I know as a 7-year-old making models back in the black and white days of the 1970s. Oh my goodness me, the idea of me worrying about seam lines and you name it, I honestly didn't care. And as like I say, is at the risk of kind of repeating history, it was kind of combination of things. It was getting my first model magazine in and about the mid-70s, which was a copy of Scale Models. Still got that copy here, folks. And I think it was an Airfix magazine as well. But once I started reading what other modelers were doing, I very quickly became aware of the deficiencies of my own ambitions and skills. Still am, quite frankly. But it was going to secondary school in 1978 and going to the library and discovering that they had a couple of books on modeling in the library, one of which, you know what I'm going to say, one of which was a book called How to Go Plastic Modeling by Chris Ellis. I started reading it and I really couldn't put it down. I couldn't put it down to the extent that I took it out almost on my first day at secondary school. in 1978, and I regrettably returned it to the library on my last day in May 1985. I've got my own copies now, copies, because there were several editions, but yeah, I've got my own copies now, including the same edition that I had when I was at secondary school. And of course, I had the absolute honor of having Chris write the intro for my book as well, which was really a nice touch. So there we go. That, folks, is, let me just clean the worktop a second there. That is it. We've constructed the Airfix Quick Build Sherman. And let's just, so I'm just getting all the detritus off the workbench here, so we can get a proper hero look. But oh, here we go. Bum, 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 bum. That, as you saw, was almost Lego-like in its kind of construction, but it doesn't look like a Lego model. There are some things that we can improve on it. I will be going back with it with some adhesive, with some with some liquid poly, some Tamiya extra thin actually. But as you can see, I think when you see some of these click together models that are out there, they do kind of look like, they do end up looking like Lego. This does not, and I think that's a really kind of remarkable testament to the designers who've done these, because they've made something that clicks together like a Lego kit, but ultimately it doesn't look like one. And like I say, I think the telling aspect is when I actually start putting some paint and some weathering on it. So yeah, we shall be covering all this in here with mud and pigment and whatnot, and but I think that is pretty solid for a snap together kit, a click together kit rather. So shall we? MP says very good. Now with a weathering, it looks awesome. Well, that's the plan, MP. That's what we're going to do. We are going to paint and weather it. Rob Sutter says, I wasn't expecting individual track links. I presume there would be old school rubber band style tracks. No, they are click together tracks. So yeah, I'm looking forward to painting this, because yeah, that's been pretty much how long we've been on for. But actually, we've been on for 2 hours. But that's 2 hours. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bead of glue down the barrel, and also these areas here. I'm just going to get these all fixed together. So it's just a case of any areas that are a little bit too flexible at the moment, we will put some glue in there, especially there as well. But that seam line, not going to worry about that, because you know why? I'm going to hide it with mud. So there we go. We have built a Sherman Firefly in the space of a 2-hour period. Thank you everybody who stayed along for that. What are we going to do now? Well, we are going to open up and have a quick look at the Quick Build Tiger. So yeah, we will build this one as well, and also hopefully get around to painting and weathering it. At this stage, I dare say Tiger fans will be casting an askance eye over this and picking fault with it, but fellas, it's not a model for enthusiasts. It's essentially it's a kid's toy. But like the Sherman Firefly, we're going to see what we can do with it. So let's open up the box, shall we? So modeler can't open box for kit shocker. Oh, I got lumpy fingers. So again, there are literally our stickers, but we'll do something about that. And like the Sherman, it is molded in approximate colours. So I think these scissors have passed their best. Oh, incidentally, folks, just on a quick note, you may have noticed that these do carry recycling labels on them. As it says, the cardboard, you can just chuck that out with your household recycling. The bag, this element, many supermarkets now are letting you recycle plastic bags with where you used to recycle the carrier bags. So for example, my local Waitrose and Lidl and Aldi, you can take any of your plastic packaging like this and it just goes in the same bin. So that's a good move. I applaud that. So any of this stuff, it can be recycled. Oh my goodness me, look at this. That's a lot of bits. So a bit like the Sherman, they're all our tracks, and they're all molded in color-ish. And then there is our Tiger. I will just grab the instructions and we'll have a look and see what's involved with this. Let's pop all these bits back in the box. Oh, we're getting there in the end, folks. Right, there we go. That's all back in the box. So let's have a quick whiz through the instructions here. And again, a bit like the Sherman, you've got everything kind of builds up around a basic kind of chassis. And then you have your kind of, like, for want of a better phrase, your big Lego bit in the middle, which holds everything together. And then everything gets built up around that. Yeah, so for example, the air filters, for the sake of simplicity, the air filters are already molded in place, and then the covers just go over that. Again, the barrel is in two pieces. Then we get to the wheels, and I'm just having a look. So from what I can tell is it does have the correct. I think it does have the correct number of wheels. Yeah, I'm sure it does. And they all kind of go over again. It's like those little kind of like split pins that lock them in place. I couldn't tell you what variant this is supposed to depict. It just says Tiger 1. I'm sure the Tiger aficionados out there will tell you it is one variant or another, or no variant at all. but it's not. Again, there are enough Tiger models on the market for enthusiasts to make an informed choice. This isn't a kit for enthusiasts. So there we go. You know, and if you're going to do a Tiger, you know, it's kind of like, it's that same old thing. It's like, it's got to be a specific variant. Well, it could be a Tiger Ausf E on March the 13th, you know, 1944 at 11 o'clock in the morning, because they can be that specific. So anyway, so there we go, folks. That is, there we go. We have built a Sherman Firefly live on the program. So we're going to, like I say, a little bit more cleanup on that, and then we'll give it a coat of primer, and then it'll be a case of what will it look like once we've got a coat of primer on it, and then some paint, and some proper paint, and some weathering, and some mud. More importantly, some mud. So I'm just having a look at the, no, I'm sorry, I'm just checking the timing there. That's it. I'm going to crack on with some other projects here at the moment, but I will come back to the Tiger. Up to you, folks. If you want me to do a pop-up live on the Tiger itself, we can do that. What I might do with the Tiger is I might prep some of the track links and then just do, you know, just show you how to put the tracks together for a few bits and pieces. But if you want me to do another one on the Quick Build Tiger, it's entirely up to you. So on that note, I'm going to go away and have some lunch and literally warm up, because I'm absolutely frozen here. We should be live tomorrow night with an interesting modeling company live. We got some interesting stuff to talk about, and also perhaps give you an update on the Sherman as well. So until then, thank you so much for watching. Goodness me, it's been over 2 hours, but there we go. So until then, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you very, very soon. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.